So why are flags the problem? Right, they're not the only problem. So what we're going to do is flags have turned from a helpful signpost to a psychological weapon, something to be claimed. You're staking your flag, right? So to understand this a little bit more, right, you have to take a bit of a journey through time and perception. So when flags were signposts, think about you're exploring the land or you're exploring a place and there is something of recognition, right? So you go, a sign, right? That's what a flag is, right? It's a signpost, right? So we have a flagpole, a post. Think about the advanced signs that we have, places, directions. Well, the flag is a simple direction, right? That way. Okay, so it's gone from being a helpful signpost to something that's used as an identity. But what's worrying, right, is that when you think about in the story, in the history, right, that flags were marched into battle, right, the person at the front holding the flag, and it was battling, right, flags and people who identified a particular area, right, going to battle, right. Now that still happens, them battlefields still happen, right, but what happens now is they happen on the telly, they happen on the high street, right, they happen in plain sight, right, and what they do, these are brands, these are how people identify, right. So I feel like I'm veering off a little bit there, right. So to bring that sort of back, I'm going to show you just because one of the problems comes when people tell other people what they have to believe. So you're going through life, whatever orientation, right? And I'm going to make this particular thing about sex because there's so much about a person's sexual orientation, right? There's two things. One, orienteering is about direction, right? Your journey through life. You are finding your way, right? If you're reading a map, it's called orienteering, right? So it's about your journey. It's not particularly a word that's associated just with sexual, but people ask you about your sexual orientation, right? So, and then sex itself is a very sort of basic instinct, right? So there's two things there. Tapping into the direction of your life, right? And the sexual awareness, categorization, identity. Now what's going off is there's a lot of people telling other people all about these different things, right, and ways. And it's part of the problem because as an individual, your journey is your journey. And you find your way. And if you need to look for, if you feel that you need to look for a sign, you look for the sign. Part of the problem is there's too many flags and too many signs being shoved in people's faces, right? And that then becomes a massive distraction to an individual's personal development, because then what happens is they feel like they have to join a club, right? Join an identity, otherwise they're going to get left behind and left alone. And when you're in your, going from being a child to a young person, you don't want to be on your own, so you sort of jump into a club. So it's funny. A lot of people won't find this funny, but it's funny that the rainbow flag that's used is actually a sign for heterosexual partnership. People go, whoa, right? It is, right? Because the rainbow itself is spelled, the first letter of each word is a boy and girl together. You have to have boy and girl together to make. I've got another video. Do a search for gender debate solved in under 8 minutes. It's another video I did some years ago on gender. This is about flags. This is about military, and this is force. It's a certificate of excellence, but it's minus the CC. Right? It's a copy, and it's paramilitary. Right? Military is represented by the Delta Echo. Right? A little bit of code there, but a parade. It's the word parade comes from a military force, right? Taking it's the echo, it's the sound, it's the march, it's the right. So that's what a parade is. It's a military operation, right? And it's a battle of hearts and minds, right? And this is what flags are used for. Is to claim your identity. Is to join a country, a club, right? To recruit you into a particular organisation. Whereas actually, they were created to be helpful signposts, very basic symbols, right? So you've got to be aware of that, right? So that when you realise that you don't need to join a club, none of these other organisations have the answer for you. They might have some information. The more organisations you join and the more identities you associate with, the more you lose your own identity, right? Because whether you have this, right, this part is there, this part is something else, this part is claimed as something else, that, and then you say, well, who am I? And then you end up being squeezed into a little slice of pie, right? And feeling very lost and, you know, whereas actually you've got all of these other particular attachments but I'm not saying it always starts off that way, right? Many things that go bad start off with good intentions, right? When they become a particular size, it becomes a control thing, and the individuals get lost within the bigger structure, right? The way to not lose yourself is to not give too much of yourself away. And for the flags that people wave, right? If anybody's waving a flag, then it's a force, it's an attention grab, right? It's a look at me, right? If there is just a flag there for your reference, if you want to go, right, whether it be country, information, right, then that's sort of helpful for you, right? But yeah, the problem with flags is they have been turned from helpful signposts into psychological weapons to control society's identity. Something for you to think about.